Hey team, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing what long runs do to your body. And I get a lot of questions about how to set up your long runs, how do I recover from my long runs, how fast do I need to be doing my long runs when I'm training for my specific event. I'll tell you from experience over the years, when I was training for the longer events, one of the biggest mistakes I was making when it came to doing my long runs was I was running them far too slow. And again, there's definitely a time for doing easy, long, slow, easy running. I'm not saying that is not essential to becoming very efficient at racing over your chosen event, whether that's the mile or the 5K or the 10K or the full marathon. The long run is without question, at least when I was training heavily for my events, the long run was the most difficult workout I did. It wasn't doing mile repeats, it wasn't doing repeat kilometers on the roads or on the track at very fast efforts. It was the long run, because when I started doing my long runs at a faster pace and I started varying up the paces of my long runs, it took a lot out of me. And so what long runs do to your body creates a lot of micro tears in your body, so in your muscles. So it's very important to either eat plenty of protein or ingest plenty of protein. Whether you're, if you're a vegetarian, then definitely consider taking a protein shake after one of these hard efforts. Make sure that you're hydrating well before and after, especially after these long runs, because they're going to take a lot out of you. And don't start doing your next hard anaerobic workout after 24 hours after doing a long run. My long runs, the way I set them up, would take me anywhere from 2 to 3 days to recover from. Now, in terms of the reason why it took me 2 to 3 days, this is specifically for my harder, varied paced long run. The way I have the way the training programs and running courses on RunDreamAchieve.com are set up is we focus on doing a harder, varied paced long run, followed the next week by a very easy, relaxed jog long run, so that you can recover from not only the hard track sessions and road workouts that you're doing throughout the week, but you also can recover from that very hard long run that you did the previous week. So I think especially if you're trying to run a specific time for either the mile, 5K, 10K, half marathon, or the marathon, it is very important to start thinking about, okay, maybe I'm running every weekend, my long run's too slow. And if that's the case, if you're not building that strong strength and stamina that you need to run a fast marathon, like if you're trying to run 2 hours and 45 minutes for the marathon, or maybe 2 hours and 30 minutes for the marathon, and you're trying to run under 6 minutes and 52 seconds per mile, or 4:16 per kilometer, and trying to break 3 hours for the marathon, you have to spend time training at a longer period of time during those long runs at a much faster pace. If you're, say, like you're doing a 32-kilometer long run, get to a point where you can do the first 16 kilometers nice and easy, and then run that last 16 kilometers at around 60 to 65% of your maximum heart rate. And again, that's very, very quality, very high tempo type running that you're doing. And also, in terms of long runs, you also got to think about some of the other examples of workouts that I would do aside from just long, slow, easy long runs. Like I said, I focused on doing, and this is how the programs and the courses on the website are set up, is you don't want to just spend every single weekend running nice, long, slow, and easy, because you're training your body to be very efficient aerobically, but you want to build that stamina and strength so that you can sustain your race pace for longer periods of time. And you can also start teaching your body to burn fat at race pace rather than burning carbohydrates. One of the biggest mistakes and one of the biggest reasons why a lot of athletes hit this so-called wall in the marathon right around mile 17 or 18 is because at any given time we only have around 1,700 to 1,800 calories of carbohydrate storage build up in our bloodstream or in our body at any given time, but we have a ton of fat storage. So wouldn't it make more sense to race and use what you have much more of than to use what you have very little of in the race and fall apart in the latter stages of a race. You don't need to hit the wall in the marathon. When I ran 2:19 for the marathon, I did not hit a wall. I started hurting very, very badly in the last 5 kilometers, but I was still able to hold it together. But I never hit a wall in that race. And even in my second fastest marathon, I ran 2:26:42 for 5th place at the 2011 Monumental Indianapolis Marathon. I didn't hit a wall there either. But I was doing training that was conducive, that was much, much faster than the type of pace I was aiming to run at. So for me personally, back then in 2007, 2008, 2009 timeframe, I was training closer to around 2 hours and 15-minute marathon pace, right around 5:11 mile pace in training. And I was doing repeat miles under 5 minutes. I was doing long runs when I was at my very fittest. I was doing anywhere. I remember doing a 150, an hour and 50 minutes for a 120 miler I did, an hour and 53 minutes, an hour and 56 minutes, all at around 6,000 feet elevation. So very, very high intensity long runs. But the following week, you would catch me out the following week doing my long run at between like 9 minutes and 10 minutes per mile pace. Easy, relaxed jogging. And my easy days after doing track sessions like repeat miles, repeat Ks on the track, repeat 800s, repeat 200s, those hard VO2 max workouts that you need to do, I would always be jogging on the days after that. So don't do a track session or a road session, a hard anaerobic workout, one day after a hard long run or a longer period of time that you spent during that long run at a very hard effort. Because again, it's all the benefits of your hard work are going to come in that rest period. So if you want to train and become very efficient at racing and to be able to sustain pace for long periods of time and be more efficient and more effective in your race, whether it's you're training for the 5K or you're training for the 10K or the marathon or the mile or the 800 or 400, spend that time training for a longer period of time during your long run at a faster pace. Examples of some of the other types of long runs I would do that eventually helped me to break 2 hours and 20 minutes for the marathon was doing varied pace long runs. Okay, so this is like doing say a 20 miler, 32 kilometers, but every 5K I would change up the pace. Like the first 5K I would run real relaxed and real easy. The next 5K I would spend training or running right around 10 to 20 seconds slower than my goal race pace, and then I would run a 5K easy, and then I would aim at running 5 kilometers right at goal pace, goal marathon race pace, run like a mile easy, nice and easy jog, and then run a mile under 5 minutes. So run like a 450 to a 455 mile, and then finish out the rest of my long run nice and easy and relaxed. So it's very important to do a mixture of all types of very easy, relaxed running, very hard VO2 max workouts where we do one track session per week where you're focusing on your overall leg speed, training it closer to around your 3K to 5K race pace. Again, running at those types of intensities are going to make you very efficient at racing at regardless of what event it is. You're going to be very strong in terms of your stamina, very strong endurance-wise. But the long run does take a lot out of your body. So make sure that you're hydrating well during your long run, prior to and especially after your long run. You're gonna lose a lot of sweat, you're gonna lose a lot of iron in your long run. So make sure that you're not running low on iron as well. I was diagnosed with anemia back in 2007. I found that my race performances and my workouts were very piss poor in terms of my capability. And it wasn't until I got a blood test and found out that I was running very, very low on ferritin, which is a component of iron, as well as iron in my bloodstream, that I was able to start taking a 65 milligram tablet with orange juice, because vitamin C helps the body absorb iron into the body more effectively. So make sure that if you're continually performing bad in workouts or in races, to consider taking a 65 milligram tablet of iron. Now, I'm not a physician. Definitely always consult a physician if you continue to see chronic problems like this. but I think a lot of times we don't ingest enough protein. We're running very low on usually on potassium or iron, because when we sweat, we lose iron from not only our sweat, but foot strike hemolysis. So every time your foot strikes the ground, you're bursting red blood cells. So you definitely want to pay attention to these little details that if you're paying attention to it, you're going to be much more effective and much more successful training for your chosen event. The long run, without question, should be the most difficult workout that you do. And if you do it correctly and you focus on recovery and you're jogging on those easy days, giving yourself 2 days of recovery after doing a hard track workout or your harder long run. If it's an easier long run the following week, like I say, alternate one harder long run followed the next week by an easy recovery jog long run. If you're paying attention to your recovery, you're going to be able to adapt well. You're going to be able to get better results by working harder working smarter rather than harder. You don't need to run high volume to get great results in any event. I mean, you can still run a great marathon running relatively low volume, but it's how you're setting up your training. If you're running if you're running like 85 to 95% of your weekly volume at 20 seconds to 40 seconds slower than your goal race pace, you're gonna have a hard time holding race pace and sustaining that pace for the entire duration of your race. So you want to spend time training well below goal race pace, at race pace, around 10 to 20 seconds slower than race pace, which is closer to your anaerobic threshold. That's, when you're doing your tempo runs, get that tempo run lengthened out. Spend more time training at that effort for longer periods of time. So I hope this video in terms of what long runs do to your body has been helpful, and some of the things you need to be thinking about when you're preparing for doing a long run. Again, don't just run every single weekend nice, long, slow, and easy. Okay, you want to become very efficient. You want to get faster. Again, if you're trying to run a specific time for a specific event, the long run is even more important. If you're just wanting to go out and enjoy running a 5K or run your first marathon, you don't have to focus so heavily on, well, how fast should I be running this long run? Just get out the door and put in consistent mileage on a consistent basis for a long period of time. Preferably a few months, right around 3 to 4 months in length. If training for a marathon is plenty of time to prepare well, but you don't have to get so technical if you're just trying to go out and enjoy a race and you're not focused so much on time. You really don't care about time. You just want to start and finish the race. This is more if you're trying to run a specific time for a specific event, there's more that's going to be required out of you. You have to train more efficiently and more tactfully, and in such a way that you're going to get better results by using leverage rather than working hard, because oftentimes some of the hardest working athletes don't always get the results that they're looking for. It's those athletes that are studying what successful middle to long distance runners are doing and emulating what they do. And so that's very, very important as well. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you're brand new to the channel, hit that bell icon, subscribe button, so when I make a new video, you'll be notified. Give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. And if there's anything else I can help you all out with, feel free to leave me a comment below this video. And there's a lot of resources below all my videos and on RunDreamAchieve.com, so definitely check those out as well. They'll help you bypass a lot of mistakes a lot of athletes are making and hopefully get you great results by using leverage. And so I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.